What's going on, everyone? Donovan here at your service with another life page. And I wanted to get this out last week for Halloween, but didn't happen. So I have two more stories to share with you, actually, that probably should have been for Halloween, but I'm going to share them anyway. Now, um, both of them are about scary movies. One is my reaction to it, and another one is another family member reaction to them, and kind of how I reacted to that. So if I had to give this life page a title, there are many titles. I can call it the half button dress shirt. I can call it so many things, but I'll just call it overcoming scary movies. And the reason I'm sharing this is because it's definitely something I went through, and I know a lot of people still go through. It's just a part of life, and whether it's Halloween or just going to see uh, any movie or being exposed to any so-called scary movie, horror movie. So I'm sharing this for that reason. But I know last time I shared with you about just how I was in the habit of watching TV shows and movies when my parents weren't home. Usually, by myself or uh, just in the basement watching the so-called big console TV, watching the Twilight Zone, just having me and the dog down there, and being so into the Twilight Zone, I forgot the dog was there, and a scene would come up, or it would just be real eerie, lights off in the basement, and I feel something licking me, and I didn't think of it being my dog, but you know, I realized later it was the dog and wasn't like something trying to eat me. Things like that. Um, but also, I told you about just the incident with my youngest sister and what happened when my parents went to cabaret. I want to share an incident and kind of share I think, some steps that um, I believe God brought me through to kind of help me overcome scary movies. You know, I grew up, at first it was kind of, felt it was kind of me, but that's not necessarily true. My parents divorced when I was around 4, so I never actually knew my dad being in the house. Um, no, another man was there, not my dad. But that's another story I'll share later. But uh, so I grew up kind of the only child at first, and my mom got married kind of around the same time my mom got married, and she was, you know, a relationship with my stepdad, and he has other children, so like a blended family type thing, and getting used to, you know, uh, siblings who are not necessarily in the house with you, but live away from you, and then comes this little girl, this baby that help to change their diaper and protect. Um, anyway, so one summer, my stepbrother and stepsister, my brother and sister came to visit, and we went to the movies. For all of you in the 313, you remember the Northwest Movie Theater and Mercury Movie Theaters, but I believe we went to Northwest um, to go see a double feature of Porky's in this movie called Visiting Hours. Now, Porky's is Porky's. You know what that is. If you haven't, look up. That's pretty much a teen ranch movie and all that stuff. But Visiting Hours was a movie about, I don't know, say psychopath or whatever, but just this guy who uh, tried to kill this reporter, found out she was still alive, and went to this hospital to finish the job, basically. And so the movie just goes through all that, him in a home, in a hospital. Now, that was probably, besides the stuff I looked at home, that was probably the first horror film, a scary movie that I actually saw at the movies. And I wasn't ready for it. I had on a dress shirt. I remember I had on a short sleeve dress shirt. And all I can remember is watching that movie and pulling up my shirt. I mean, pulling up my shirt at least halfway. And I think I tore half the buttons off that shirt from covering up from the scenes in the movie or what I thought would be scary scenes, and the music and the suspense. I tore that shirt up. My mom was so upset with me when I got home, but I like ripped the shirt halfway, the buttons. It was no good. So I remember that movie, and a couple of nights ago I looked at the trailer for it. I'm like, psst, really? But it took me a while to get to that point, and these are the points that I believe I was taken through to really kind of overcome my fear of horror, of scary movies. One, and this kind of happened at the same time in high school. One, I met a guy. I met one of my brothers from the brotherhood. I met my brother Mike, and he's a fellow writer, and is a great storyteller and things like that. But one thing about my brother Mike is that it's great to have friends, brothers that come along in your life to help break down things to you. If you're like totally green behind the ears or just have no clue, it's great to have people of brothers of understanding that come in your life and help share things with you. And so not only was he the writer that we connected that way, but he's a big movie buff. So he used to have Fangora magazine, and so he showed me all these magazines and the effects of how the monsters were put together, how just all that, and he would break down the science of horror films to me. We go over stuff and he'll break down. It's always a pattern. It's always this type of chick in a movie is always this type of these type of guys. Always the brother that gets killed. I'm glad that's kind of changed over the years. The girl that's running and the killer that's walking. I mean, he's like got that slow dragging foot and yet catches up with her because she trips and falls, on a tree branch or whatever. All these things he broke down to me. That was one thing that really helped me to overcome horror, scary movies. That's one. Two is that kind of like around the same time, my stepdad opened up a fish market, which of course I had to help. So I'm at the fish market, dealing with blood and guts, basically, just fish. So I'm cutting open. Basically learn how to clean fish. So the smell, the blood, the guts of a fish, doing that kind of on a regular basis, and just cutting up something, ripping just cleaning the guts and blood out. It just kind of became normal to me. So seeing that and seeing, Fangoria magazines, and I look at that and I'm like, that's not real blood. That's like ketchup and whatever. And that those two going together. Plus, I think a third element, or especially around the time where a lot of beginnings of movies that we come to know today as franchises, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Back then they were kind of building up. They weren't beginning; they were kind of ongoing, and they were turning more into comedies than a horror film. I mean, and there was the same elements. There was the suspense, the drama, which I love in movies. But then came the humor, the ironic humor about things, um, and the patterns I kept seeing. So about time, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors. About time that came out, I remember. Um, I was working out of town. I was working in Ohio, and my girlfriend at the time wanted to go see it, and I warned her. I said, I'm not gonna, and I was bad at the time. I said, I'm not gonna, comfort you because I know this movie is gonna be stupid. I know this movie is gonna be hilarious, and it was kind of one of those dates, not a date, but it was kind of one of those embarrassing times in my life where I told the truth, but you know, I sat at one end of the aisle, she sat at the other. She sat cringing, I sat cracking up. I was like the Robert De Niro on Cape Fear. I was just cracking up because it was just so funny, uh, and I think sharing this story, sharing these stories, I think looking back at it is that if you have a fear, you're dealing with fear, and you overcome it, be blessed that you overcome it. There a lot of things that kill fear is knowledge, and once you have the knowledge, once I saw what was going on in the books, I noticed the patterns on the movie screen. I noticed how silly the movies were getting. Um, I noticed, the difference between real blood and guts, and what I saw on the screen. And when I saw those things, that helped me. That knowledge helped me to overcome things, and that's what I hope you can learn about fear. Is that knowledge can help you overcome fear. It can help you overcome fear. And I know a lot of people are fearful of many things, from horror movies to uh, medicine to, uh, just the person next door. It could be a lot of fear about things, and knowledge helps you to really overcome those things, really informs you of what to do next, of how to react next. And that's what helped me to really overcome my fear of horror films, of scary movies. I would like to say that everything was fine and great then, but I think also a warning when you have the knowledge and you know these things is that, like my example with the old girlfriend, is that you can become insensitive and harsh, crude. You can seem like you know the scary movies never phased you in the beginning, at all, and ridicule other people and make fun of them for being afraid, and don't do that. Don't do that, because someone was kind to you to help you overcome a fear and give you the knowledge to overcome it. Do the same for other people. I just wanted to share that today, and it's like I said, I know it's past Halloween, but just think about this when you're dealing with fears, um, when you're dealing with horror films. Look at, think about the way I was shown to overcome it, and think about the knowledge you can take to overcome whatever fear you're dealing with. That's my life page for today, guys. And remember, if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll let you know when the next video comes up. Thanks. Talk to you later. Peace.